guys, welcome from me, this Chase Manager 0102, Game On, Part 14. Now, if you tuned into Part 13, which was obviously a special, that was a stream, you'll see we've really been making some headroom on this game, and we continue to do so, because since that stream, which was Saturday afternoon, it's now Tuesday morning, we fucking smashed out a long session. I think we did a little bit more Saturday evening. We did a long one on Sunday. We did a couple of hours last night. Where to start? But we are at December of season 14. If I remember rightly, we were just starting season 13, weren't we? During our stream. We're now December season 14, which is absolutely bizarre. And I can't 100% remember where we were totally at. In respect of who we were and stuff like that. So without further ado, I'm going to fire this game up as a solo. Spoilers are going to go in as we go. Oh fuck! Insert disc. Oh fucking hell. How many times have I done that and not mounted it? So without further ado, let's go straight to it. Let's start with Matt. Hopefully it'll bring us straight to Matt. It tends to bring me to the second player. Before I say anything with Matt, hopefully it'll bring us straight to Matt. Yes, it has. Okay, so Matt is still Manchester United, and I do stress the word just still Manchester United. Matt, last season, particularly towards the back end, was woeful, and he fell to 7th, I think, at one point. Supporters' Fury was eliminated out of literally everything, and it was looking bleak. And I did say to him, it's that top 4 that's going to be crucial. And he scraped his way to 2nd, but then slipped to 3rd on the last game of the season. So did manage to make Champions League football. Now, from Matt's perspective, or from my perspective, I would think to myself, right, okay, he's going to have 7 fresh signings, and he should be a force this year. Not happening. He's had an absolute... I mean, he is actually not far off the top, but his start has been absolutely woeful. Let's go straight to him. In fact, I'll tell you what we'll do. Just to give nothing away, let's go straight to competitions. So, he is actually only 3 points off the pace. 6 points off the pace. I thought he was 3, actually. But you can see he's had 5 defeats already this season. 4 draws. He's had some absolute horrendous runs. He is out of the League Cup. He went out of the League Cup at the first hurdle. And you've almost got a feel for him. I think we all get it, where you get to that stage where you just think, oh, fuck this, and you rage quit, or you just can't be bothered. It's different on a network game. It's totally different on a network game because you can't do that. And I know, he was, and I think we've all been through it. So his 7 signings. Now, it's funny, right? You can only see 6 there, right? Now, he had the Diego Simeone regen coming through. We weren't sure if that Simeone regen was going to come as part of the next academic year or the previous one. We did say, if it comes under the previous one, then he'll only have 6 the following year. And as you can see, it came on the 19th, because I wasn't sure if we would have had the updates. So he ended up theoretically having 8 in his first full in this season here. He didn't buy Robben, of course. He did save 2. He brought the Cannavaro regen, and you can see how shit he's done so far this season. Roy Van Toorn, I don't even know who he is, if I'm really honest with you. So like I say, he's only got 6, and he's brought his 6. He's brought what we believe is Toldo regen. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't even know he brought Del Riccio. Ryan Giggs. Now, Matt asked me what I felt of his setup. For me personally, I think when you've got someone like Ryan Giggs regen and this guy who I don't know, I don't really know much about him, but they're left wingers, they're right wingers. They're not designed to play on that sort of setup personally. But you know what? I'm not claiming to be the expert. So he has had an absolute woeful time. And a bit of a giveaway there. Bit of a fucking giveaway there, bit of a spoiler. So you can see who I am. I'm Dortmund, and you can also see there that we clashed in the Champions League, which Matt won. More about that discussed in a moment. So yeah, he's had some absolute shocking games. I mean, over here, when he got thrashed at Arsenal 5-1, that was like an all-time new low. He changed his formation a little bit. I did throw a suggestion to him that maybe he should test going to the middleman. He was lucky to get out of the Champions League first phase. He really just scraped out of that. But he has picked up of late. He's on the back of like 3 league victories against Birmingham, Fulham and Wickham. And he's now got 3 home games in a row against Leeds, won't be easy, Notts County and Tottenham, won't be easy. So it's going to be tricky. Okay, me. So I said to you on the previous video, there's only 2 teams I really want to move to. One of them was Arsenal, one of them was Dortmund. The Dortmund job came available and the money was insane. I can't remember if I said this on the previous version, on the previous stream. I'm sure I didn't. In fact, no, I didn't. So, Dortmund. So we took over Dortmund. Let's just see where we took over, at what point. So we took over Dortmund on the 7th of January 14. So almost coming up to a year at Dortmund. They were absolutely awful. I think they were between 7th and 10th. They were doing awful in the league. But we steered them to a very respectable final league placing. They finished runners-up. We finished runners-up, which was quite a fucking achievement, to be fair. So this is our first full season. Now, of course, Dortmund weren't in Europe at all last season. So they'd had such a shit season the prior season as well. So we brought our 7 signings, remember, and we started signing from Carboni, Manuel Carboni. Now, I really fucked up. I totally fucked up, because little did I fucking realise that when I took over, no, it must have been a little bit after, I must have missed it, but I missed the transfer deadline, and of course, after the deadline in January, the next one is July, so that's the next academic year, so I actually lost out on 2 players. Ordinarily would have had 7 an academic year, but it's my own fault. It was totally my own fault. I brought in Manuel Carboni really just to steady. The squad had become absolutely awful, and I mean awful. We brought Peter Schmeichel, Regen, NDIE, who's done awful, and of course Figo, who had a really tough start this season. So we've made our 7 transfers for this season, and as you can see them. I don't know who Paulo Perez is. Absolutely brilliant. The cunt is injured at the minute. He got injured for 3 months, and which was he weren't going to start, but gave him a game, got me a 10. The rest is history. Gary Wall, we got him, of course, from Porto. Hang on a minute. Who's that? I thought I'd read it. Oh yeah, he hasn't renamed him. Okay, that's what confused me there. He hadn't renamed him. So that's Roberto Baggio, Regen. And Rivaldo. The big one was Shearer. Now, taking full advantage of me being in Germany and Matt being in England meant that the English transfer window was going to open sort of mid-June or early June. So Matt couldn't go for any players, where I could go for Shearer towards the back end of last season, knowing that the deal won't go through until July. More about that in a moment. So we got Shearer, who did get injured for a month, which did prove costly. Rivaldo hasn't really been playing. Zanetti. But the biggest real shitter, right? So I was chasing Khan. 8 million bid rejected. 9 million bid rejected. 10 million rejected. Signs a new contract with a 2.5 release clause. But what I've noticed, right, is his injury prone is going up, I swear, because look at that, 16. I don't believe it being a 16 before, and he did get injured for 2 months. Little prick. Now, we have got a player coming, right, and I've recently agreed it. Vogel, he's only 6, it's just turned 17, but you will see he's coming on a Bosman. His contract ends in March, but he can't sign for me in March because my window's closed, so he will sign for me on the 1st of July. So a little bit sneaky, but where there's a will, there's a way. Now, the biggest thing, right, the biggest fucking shock, right, that approached me and Matt was how much money I had to spend. not to spend, because I only ever had roughly around 20 to 25 million pounds to spend. But it was what was in the bank. It was in excess of over 100 million pounds. And just before I go continue with that, look at the stadium. That was increased by another. I mean, I pointed out about the stadium on the previous video when I said I'd like Borussia Dortmund. And then I think Matt asked for a bigger stadium and he got it at Man United. I think he's at 80 odd thousand. I didn't even ask, and they gave me another 21,000. I mean, look at that, is fucking insane. And that probably explains why I've got so much fucking money, because I arrived here, I think it was I want to say 150, 160, something like that million. Then some ticket sales came in, you know. So with that sort of money at my disposal, it almost steered away from me wanting to buy the regens, because they're not the greatest at regens, not at the moment. But nevertheless, you know, this is where we are at. We've had a bit of a tough run of late with Dortmund, but my objective is certainly to win the title with Borussia Dortmund. With Matt's shocking form, this was a really hard pill to swallow. I was fucking livid. I shit you not, I was fucking raging. I think prior to that game, we were going to save before that game, because I think Matt got to that stage where he thinks, oh, I just need a fucking break. And I thought, you know, fair enough. Then he goes, how long do you want to go for? I says, well, we can go for one or two more games. Played that game, and you know, like when you think, God, I wish I had just fucking saved. So it's a difficult looking Champions League group, as you can see, Ajax and Milan. And we drew our first game in Milan 2-2. It's not over. We've got a long way to go. The Pierce regen has been absolutely awful for me. I can't find his best position because I've moved Maldini to left back, and since he's gone into left back, he's done really well, so he's going to stay there. There's no doubt about that. I still don't think we've got a good, strong enough depth of squad, by no means. Ricken has been brilliant for me. I'll tell you who has done really well is my defensive midfielder. Where is he? Schuster. I don't know who he is, but I don't think he's a regen. Oh, he is a regen. But you know, he's done really well for me. I even gave a couple of the old guard a new 1 year deal. I think McCooley got a 1 year deal. Terry's going at the end of the season regardless. I think there was somebody else leaving. Jonas London, McCooley, Olic, London, probably him as well. So there's going to be at least 4-5 players going at the end of the season, and we'll get 7 more in. That's as if, of course, if we don't depart Dortmund. I think realistically, we spoke about routes, and it would be very difficult for me not to set routes up here because there's a lot of financial backing. The stadium's fucking mammoth, and we are building. You know, we do need some more players. I mean, could do with some youth to come in. To be fair, I mean, there's still a lot of players around on the regens. Quick one about the regens. A little bit of constructive criticism from Gary Johnson about he's not a fan of this. So I'm doing it, Gary, purely for you. Not a fan of renaming them. If I'm truly honest, right, I never used to do it. And it's funny, really, Gary, because years and years ago when I learned how to use a GPF program, and you know, like when you play with a new toy, and I was doing exactly this, and I was playing a really long-term save, and I like to commentate and shit. And it felt fucking stupid. It felt fucking stupid. It was silly. So, valid point, Gary. I'm obviously going to maintain it for this game, and probably whilst my 7-Up is still going, although that is I don't even know did I do it on my 7-Up? I think I did. Although that 7-Up game is gradually dying, to be honest with you, because I've got no patience to play anymore on the ODB, on my solo game. I actually considered starting a new game on the update. I'm looking for suggestions on that one, guys. So yeah, I do see what Gary is saying in respect of the regens. You know, there's a very good percent that is Southall, but there's always that possibility it might not be Southall. Now, Gary also pointed something out when I was looking for someone to tell me who that is a regen of, and I think the answer within Gary's answer on YouTube, and that is sometimes regens, you know, they just regen a fucking superstar. So there's no point wasting time. And I think we've got to a stage now with the regens in this particular game where there ain't going to be any more, not of quality anyway. So You imagine, with that in mind, we can really fire through even more. Now, whilst we've got a lot of the regions on our shortlist, probably all of them, we can only buy 7. We can only buy 7 a season. But, yeah, duly noted, Gary, on what you're saying. I do like some constructive criticism. In terms of the manager's stats, I mean, I don't know how the fuck Matt is still 10th. To be honest with you, now this is the truth be told, Matt should have been sacked. I put a post up, just a fun post on the Championship Manager Arena group yesterday about is there a second sacking on the cards, because it was looking pretty fucking bleak. You know, I mean, maybe he could turn it around. He could well turn it around. He asked me what I feel the problem is. I think sometimes chopping and changing can backfire. I think morale's a key. There's a lot of key factors really to take in. Is he playing people in their correct position? Well, everyone's got their own perspective of that. Yakubu, I feel, is a better DMC. And, you know, given, Coelho is only on 710, I'd be playing. That's just my own personal opinion. Zlatan, I know Zlatan's been injured, but I mean 727, that's not fucking good enough. Not good enough whatsoever. Ryan Giggs 711, not good enough, and that probably goes to him being a little bit out of position. And let's just have a look now. Has he got injuries as well? So Simeone's injured. So what was the deal with the right winger? Why is he not? See, 706 out of position. That's just my. I mean, I know he did well last season. I think you've also got to remember, Matt, he did really well at Real Madrid, but it's a different calibre, different kettle of fish. He hasn't got massive amounts of money, I don't believe. It's only secure, but yeah, there you see his facilities have gone up to 83,800. Yeah, so in terms of, so he's out the League Cup, he went out the first hurdle, and as far as the German Cup is concerned, we had let me show you our third round then. We went to HSV, right? HSV are the current double champions, as you can see. And we won 5-1 after extra time. That was quite a fucking game. Quite a game, indeed. And I think whilst we can win that sort of stuff, I mean, I did change it around a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe this don't make any fucking difference. All these arrows, I was getting a little bit carried. I think the reason I changed those arrows a little bit, I was really pissed off from the, I lost my first league game there. I don't know what the fuck happened there. Then I lost to Man United. I was just really pissed off. I was so pissed off. So that is it then. Part 14 of CM 0102. Game on in my Heads Up network game with Matt. The objective for me is definitely to bounce back in the Champions League, but definitely to make an assault on the title. We've got a game in hand. Even a draw would take us top of the table. There's a long way to go as we fast approach the halfway stage of the season. So that's our situation there. Let's take another quick gander at Matt's. Matt, not looking brilliant, to be fair. Matt, you are 6 points off the pace, but let's just take a look. There you see is Matt's little stick graph. He went down to 19th. That is absolutely awful. The current champions are Tottenham. So there's a lot of. I mean, Leeds will be a force. Liverpool have had a bit of a woeful season so far. And you've got Wickham, you've got Bradford, Notts County, Stockport. I mean, what the fuck? Let me remind you that Birmingham have a lot of money. I'm sure they're still rich. Yeah, of course they are. And that is basically it, guys. That is basically it from this this crazy game, and it is a crazy game. You know, it is really getting into quite. It gets very exciting. I don't think we've got a session planned for tonight. I think we're both going to actually give our families a little bit of attention. And until next time from me, guys, it's take it easy.